guys, I think I might be actually Angelica Pickle's mom.
All day, baby. Susie Carmichael till the day I die. Ah!
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Let's do it. Hi, you guys. It's a new me. It's a new year. It's a new life. It's Busy Phillips doing her best. That's not even the name of the show. It's Busy Phillips is doing her best. What is it? I don't even know anymore. Casey St. Ange and Shantira Jackson.
Hello.
You tell me. What do we call it? What is this show called?
It's called Busy Phillips is doing her best.
Is doing her best. I am doing my best.
To remember the name of the show.
Just to remember all of the pertinent details. And also to just we made it.
We did it, y'all.
We're here.
Cautiously optimistic that we've made it.
Cautiously.
I mean,
there's work to be done.
Obviously, there's always work to be done. There was always work to be done. But damn, it feels good to know that somebody, a grown-up, will help us.
I swear to God. Wait, did I ever say that theory on this podcast? Did I ever talk about that?
I don't
Casey?
know.
What theory?
What theory?
The kids that are out of control.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So Shantira, basically there's a theory in family therapy that a child in crisis will continue to devolve in behavior and however it's coming, like whatever's happening, whether it's like they're throwing temper tantrums, they're hurting themselves, they're like whatever it is. They will continue to devolve until the point at which they feel the adult in charge has fully taken control of the situation. My friend, the United States has been a devolving child.
Absolutely, 100%.
And we have been waiting for a parent to come in and take control of the situation so that we can stop spiraling down into oblivion. And that is what fucking happened on Saturday when the adults
took over.
and took charge.
Also, Biden, okay, here's the thing. Like, you know me, I'm dead inside. But when Biden went up there at the end of his speech and he was like, God bless America, God bless our troops, I was like, inject this propaganda into my motherfucking veins. Give it to me. Then he kissed the baby. I was like, this is what I fucking need right now.
I swear to God, I screen grabbed the picture of him with that baby on my phone because I was like, all I want is Joe Biden and that baby in my brain.
Truly.
And Kamala, I have to say, I think Kamala wearing white, I immediately started crying when she walked out. Casey, did you cry?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Who's not crying at that?
I know I cried on Saturday. I was just crying. I was and also it's just we talked about this in the podcast before. I was like, I haven't been crying because it's not over yet. And obviously it's not over, but this is as over as it's felt like it's going to be in a long time. And I just cried from I feel like I'm an inch taller. Next time I do a Hollywood break, next time I do an audition, they ask me how tall I am. I think I would have to say 5'10" because I feel like my shoulders have dropped. My spine got straight. I feel like we've been holding so much in. I definitely am taller.
Yeah. I texted my mom that I was happy that she got to see a woman vice president in her lifetime.
I celebrated. I walked to the store and I bought a bottle of champagne because I'm in this real white neighborhood and it was just a little too quiet. And I was like, let me go get some booze. This is the only time that I ever wanted to be in New York.
Yeah,
I was like, I either want to be Chicago or New York. And then I saw what was going on in New York, and New York always makes me depressed and we don't vibe. But I was like, what I wouldn't do to be on a fucking stoop in Brooklyn right now.
Can I tell you something? It was so I had a morning already. I was bummed, had gone to bed. I don't know what you guys were Friday night, but
I was
it
pissed.
was weighing. What?
Yeah. I was pissed. I was like,
yeah,
let's do this.
It was weighing on me. I wasn't even I'm going to stay up and try to watch. I was just turn the TVs off. Just turn them off. This is going to be this thing. This is the way this motherfucker has done everything. It's all going to be obscured. No one's going to, like, we're not going to know anything for months. Like, no one's going to call it because they're too afraid of him, like, because he's a lunatic and terrifying. And I was just like, fuck it. I was in a terrible mood. So the next morning I woke up, Saturday morning, and I, a real flower bitch. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm going to do something for myself. I'm going to go buy myself flowers at the flower market. So I walked quite a distance to where the map told me the flower market was. And I found it. And I forgot that I did not have a car and that I was going to have to walk home with all of the flowers and vases that I bought. So then I had to walk home with like weighed down with bags and flowers. I got home. I arranged my flowers. I was like, you know what? This did put a little pep in my step. I do like these flowers. I am going to work out today because I've not been feeling it. I haven't been feeling like jumping around. I went downstairs to like the kids, like the TV room where I'm working out right now. And I went to pee because, you got to pee before you jump on a trampoline, guys. That is necessary. Well, I have to pee all the time for sure.
Yeah.
But 150%, because a lot of women ask me this, especially women who have had children, although we found out from that gymnast, Caitlin Ohashi, when she was on Busy Tonight.
Incredibly fit teen gymnasts pee themselves.
Yeah. Also sometimes pee themselves when they're jumping around because that is just pressure and gravity. Anyway, so I had to do my last minute pee before I started jumping. I sat down. My phone was on the sink. It buzzed. It was my manager, Carrie Bialik, sending me a screen grab of, I think, was it MSNBC was the first one to call it? She sent me the screen grab. I was like, holy shit! And I, like, pants, didn't even pull my underwear up, like, ran out of the bathroom and was like, Mark, they called it! They fucking called it! And he turned on the TV, and then Sarah Beth, like, came out of her room. I think she might have just been waking up. I don't know. She's, basically a teenager. She came out of her room. She's like, wait, what? And I was like, they called it. They called it. And then MS, like whatever it was that Mark turned on called it. And then something else called it. And then I was like, what do we do? Like, we're standing in our apartment here. I'm like, what do we do? We have to go outside. And like,
yes.
We ran outside. And then I looked to the left and all the neighbors have run outside. And everyone's just like standing there with their arms open. And I'm like, we did it! and then all the cars started honking, and people in like the apartment building across the street started like banging pots and pans out the windows, and people were screaming. And then Birdie came downstairs, and she was just getting up, and she's like, "What's happening?" I was like, "Birdie, they called it. Joe Biden's our president." She's like, "What?" And then she like tumbled into the street screaming. And then I was like, well, I'm not fucking working out. Let's go. And so we like got together and just like started walking around the city, and people were like, I can't even, it was truly.
It's like a movie. It's like a movie.
Like
and I was
in a
jealous.
It was
I'm so jealous. I was like, I wish I was in a major city that fucking partied like a motherfucker. I woke up and like, I'm a very good neighbor. Truly, I'm a very nice lady. But at 8:30, I found out I fucking blasted Fuck Donald Trump by YG and Nipsey Hussle. I was like, these neighbors gonna get this music today. Played that song nonstop for an hour. Went to the grocery store. Across the street, we're walking, right? Across the street. And also in this neighborhood, it's kind of hard to tell. Because like in New York, everybody is excited, right? Here, everybody ain't excited. So I'm walking, trying to see who's excited, right? So I see across the street, and there's this lady. She's very pregnant. She has 2 kids. Ladies walking who are very pregnant are like, are you trying to like walk so the baby comes? I'm like, what's her vibe this morning? And then I'm like walking, and I like am clapping, and I just go, yes. And then she like looks at me, and then she screams yes from across the street. And then I go, yes. So we're walking parallel with the 4 lanes of traffic, and we're just walking and screaming yes. And she has these 2 little kids, and this little boy just stops and screams, no more Trump. And I was like, this was worth the walk to the fucking grocery store. We went to the grocery store. Everybody's buying champagne. We can't touch each other. We clink our champagne bottles, and we're like, this is enough. It's enough to know that there's like 20 other hipsters in this Sherman Oaks right now buying champagne.
My son on the East Coast texted me, and then I got to wake up my son that lives here.
Oh, I'm so glad you got to like wake him up and tell him that.
Oh
news.
my
That's
gosh,
really
Lincoln,
sweet.
he deserves that.
Yeah, they both worked very hard on Hillary's campaign in 2016. My son was like basically ran the local Hillary for America office with another one of his high school classmates. And so I was so worried that they would that heartbreak would cause them to just check out and be like, it's too much, because they really were heartbroken when that happened. And they didn't. They really rallied, and even as their favorite candidates fell through the primaries, they would like align behind someone new. So they're both really excited. My neighborhood was also dead quiet except for one car driving around through the streets honking.
Also, it's like, because if you look at the map here in LA, the only two places that went to Trump were the Scientology building and Beverly
Wait, Mark
Hills.
and I were talking about that, and I was like, why Scientology? And I think it has to do with taxes, right?
Yeah.
They must donate a lot of money or something. I don't know.
Who knows? We'll
Lord
never
knows.
know.
We might need to cut that
No.
out so they don't come after us. I'm going to say.
Say what?
Do you know that when I was on Freaks and Geeks, though, the Scientology Center on Franklin?
Yes.
That's like across from like where UCB and was.
Oh,
and
yes.
Birds and stuff.
They're
Okay.
tricky. The Scientology Center, because they're always doing fun stuff. Like the last time when I was out in them streets, they were showing Hocus Pocus on a big screen.
Who doesn't
and it
love
looked so
Hocus Pocus?
fun. And I was like, oh my God, this looks fun as hell. And then you walk up to it and it's Scientology, and that's how they fucking get you.
Well, I'm not even kidding you. When I was 20 years old on Freaks and Geeks, we were shooting at Raleigh Studios, which is across from Paramount. And we went to Birds, the restaurant Birds, which like has been in that location on Franklin for legitimately 400 years, that restaurant. It is like the oldest restaurant in Los Angeles. Anyway, so we go to Birds and I get my barbecue chicken wrap sandwich that I loved. And after work one night, and I think it was Siegel and Linda and me and Seth. I know it was the four of us. And Jason, who grew up in Los Angeles, fully fucking convinced me over the course of the meal that inside the Scientology Center was a ride that was like a Tower of Terror ride that dropped at the end from the top. And I was like, thought it was bullshit, but he was very convincing. And then also I was like, they are always doing fun stuff over there, just like Shantira said. And I was like, I mean, it kind of makes sense that they have
It's
a
really
ride in
fun.
there.
It does
It's
look,
really
and
fun.
it's very theatrical looking building. So
Yeah.
it doesn't not look like MGM Studios.
Yeah.
It doesn't not look like there's a Tower of Terror in there.
Right.
But when you go by there in the middle of the week, like I'm always almost getting duped by fun things from Scientology, truly. Because I was walking by and this was like when right when I moved to LA, and it was all like giant real Christmas trees.
Oh, yeah,
and
they
like
have the
this
big Christmas
winter
setup.
wonderland. And I was like, oh my God, do I need to go in here and get a tree? And then I was like, Scientology again, every holiday. It looks too fun.
From what I know from just literally watching that documentary Going Clear, and from Mark telling me about the book and the podcast that he listened to, I think that you can kind of be whatever religion you want to be, and that Scientology like exists sort of within that thing.
But you can just take the fun stuff. It's like it's like what Republicans do with the Bible. They take what they want from it. So like the Scientology, they're like, you know what people like? They like Halloween. They like Christmas trees. You can take in. I think it's easier to get people to leave other stuff if they can take what they like from those parts of it.
Oh,
if
that's
that
a good
makes sense.
point. Yeah.
It's like if you come to someone and you're like, you can never celebrate Christmas again, you could be like, I don't know, Jehovah's Witness ain't for me. But then if they're like, you can take whatever you want,
Yeah.
you can be like, well, I get my birthday and Christmas? Okay.
I mean, I'm all for whatever makes you happy. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And like, if you need a Christmas tree in your life and you happen to be Jewish and you also light a menorah, but like you like the lights and you want some sparkly things and you think it'd be cute, put up a Christmas tree.
I know.
Like, I don't
Right
have
now.
any judgments about anyone wanting to like go to the flower market, weigh yourself down. You know what I mean? Anyway, wait, so back to total, wait, not total. What is it? Wait, back to Four Seasons Total Landscaping, which we didn't
Oh
start
my
talking
God.
about yet.
Yeah.
You guys,
We never got to it.
the celebration was too great that I almost like didn't even
see
need
that.
that
It's
had
too much. It's a
happened.
hat on a hat.
They Borated
feel like
themselves.
They Borated themselves, but it is also like very indicative of the entire administration, right? Which is that like someone clearly fucked up. I don't know who, but instead of just saying like, man, someone fucked up, it's actually going to be over here. They were like, no one fucked up ever because we're fucking perfect.
Well, but I'm always so paranoid that I'm like, they did this on purpose to distract us from something so that we'd all be laughing all day about Four Seasons Total Landscaping while they were like running out the back door with bags of money or something.
They're so stupid. As someone who like has a journalism background, I'm like, oh, it's starting. Like Fox News cut away from Kayleigh McEnany, and MSNBC was like, that's not true, we're stopping. And I was like, this is the beginning. And then I think it was Laura Ingraham. I'll have to send you guys the link, but there's like, it's very 1984. She's like talking directly to him through the camera. She was like, it's okay. No matter what, your legacy will continue on. I was like, this ain't for the audience.
Tomorrow she'll be like, you're getting very sleepy.
Yes.
Your legs
I'll
are
send you the
tired.
link, Busy. It was like
bizarre.
the whole room went away and she was just talking to him. And I was like, what? But anyway, who cares? That fucker's gone.
You know me. I until something's happening, until someone's sitting on the throne they're supposed to be sitting on, I'll maintain nervousness.
It's the advice that I give people who are starting out in the entertainment industry and they talk about projects that they have going.
Oh,
and
you
I
don't
say
say
to them, you cannot tell anyone about your projects that you're starring in and or have created and are writing until you are sitting in the theater and the end credits have rolled. And only then are you able to text people and have your mom post on Facebook. It's just like, I totally get it. But what I mean by I feel confident in Biden and Kamala having it under control is that, first of all, I've learned a lot about Joe Biden in the last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know that he had run 4 times, which every network told me 7 billion times over the last week. But then I like kind of looked into the story of it and that he really believed that running for that being president was his destiny in life. And you know I fucking love destiny. You know I love a found penny. And so this man has faced all of these things, right? And he's evolved and he's changed his position on things because he's allowed himself to evolve and change and admit his mistakes in the past, which is like what you fucking want from a leader and from anyone, actually just a human. So that's why I think this is why I am not as nervous as others, because I think there's no fucking way he's going to let this get taken away from him.
One of the things that I really believe, and I mean, like, obviously, I'm not like a Joe Biden stan, but like, I think that he believes, obviously, that it's his destiny. I think that he was done running for president. Like, he's old as fuck. His kids are dead. His son is finally in recovery. And he wants to spend, he's 78.
It's crazy.
You don't think that he wants to spend the last few years he's got, I mean, just mathematically with his family? That man is giving his fucking last years of life to save us. That man was on his way to eating ice cream, doing book tours, going on supermarket sweep, chilling. You know what I mean? And I think that people, obviously you have to have an ego to want to be the president, especially an ego to run that many times. But as a Black queer woman, I 100% recognize that old ass man was like, look, I'm going to give you my last 8 years. That's a big sacrifice. He did not have to do that for us. I truly believe it, that he was like, okay, instead of chilling, I'm going to try to do this.
I also think there was a real push from younger voters who
absolutely young voters of color, white young
voters
people
of color
was fucking
sure.
around, especially in Georgia.
But I think it's interesting because people keep talking about the demographics that voted, and I tried to sort of float this on Twitter to see if I could get like a mathematical genius to tell me about exit polls, but it didn't really. People just started telling me their theories, their armchair theories, which are the same as what I have. But like, I'm like, how can we rely on the exit polls when we know that in-person voting was so much smaller than it usually is. So I was trying to like look into exit polls to see, because it'd be really interesting to know just who we have to like go after in the future.
Well, they're
to bring
also
into the tent.
lying. All of those white women lied when they got out of the polls and said they didn't do what they did. And then 55% of them hoes voted for Trump. So what the fuck is an exit poll? What we need to do is make sure everybody is registered to vote, which is what Stacey Abrams did, because the demographic really is the one that we can 100% count on is indigenous people, black people, brown people. You know what I mean? Those are the people that like we know aren't lying to us.
The thing that really caught me with the exit polls, most demographics increased their vote for Trump, which I guess makes sense because he's an incumbent. I mean, it doesn't make sense at all, but you know, in terms of history, it makes a little sense.
Yeah.
But the one that really got me is that like, according to the exit polls, this is why I was like, you can't believe the exit polls. According to the exit polls, 28% of LGBT voters voted for Trump.
That sounds right.
That sounds right to you. I
Why?
was shocked.
Who are
I
these
say this sounds right to me because this is truly, I'm like really dragging white people. Whiteness overpowers everything. A handsome, or not even a handsome, you can be ugly as fuck, white man who is gay will choose their whiteness over their gayness because their whiteness gives them access to more even as a gay man. So if you are rich, that absolutely tracks. So like that's where we look at like what they look like how do they identify? Because there's a lot, you rarely see like black gays for Trump. There's a bunch of gays for Trump and they are usually white because whiteness, also it's the same thing with like women who take over, who like really connect with the patriarchy. You know what I mean?
That's what I was about to say, Shantira. I was about to say
power and what is your connection to power? So if you already are marginalized and you're white, you got to step up, like a step up where you can be like, if I feel like if I go in this room, I can pretend to not be gay, but I'll always be white. And people do that.
I think that's true. And I also think that there's something to be said for continuing the work of making sure that every person understands privilege and understands fucking white privilege and, you know, understands the patriarchy, and that we continue to like try to fucking bring all this shit down. And on that note.
Well, can I say one thing too on that too? I mean, like, we also, that is so dependent on like people being willing to learn, which is what you talked about. One of the reasons we like Joe Biden is because like Kamala fucking dragged him in the debates. And then he picked her for his running mate. Because you want somebody who will drag you. That way you don't end up like fucking a house full of people who follow around and yes and Trump, right? So like I think that we want to teach people, they have to be willing to learn. But like if they're not willing to learn, that's where we got to get on that Voters' Rights Act. If we can just get everybody registered to vote, we can use our energy helping them instead of trying to convince. Because like I'm sick of convincing people when I could just give them health care. If we get enough votes, we can just be like, well, you can believe that, and then I'm still going to make sure you have food. Right. And I think that that's where the direction that we're moving.
Right. That's one of the reasons I'm so curious about the exit polls, and I want to see like when they're finally weighted or whatever, because I think that what Stacey Abrams did in Georgia was so smart, and obviously she was very targeted. And so I would love to be able to register voters just like you're saying, but in like a really targeted way. That's my wish for like when the Voting Rights Act is restored, and that we just like really get on our game. Like we have all this technology and all this knowledge at our disposal, and to use it for good instead of like whatever Mark Zuckerberg is doing would be so grand.
Oh, he's fucking up, man. He's really fucking us.
Here we go, guys. Listen, one size fits all, not a phrase that should describe really anything. I mean, truly, just anything. Just throw it out. Throw that phrase out.
Meaningless.
We are all unique. It is a worthless phrase. We are unique individuals with unique needs and of all kinds. And that includes our beauty routines. We should have something that is tailor-made to us. That's where function of beauty comes in. They get it. They love it. The drugstore is not your friend. I don't know about you, but I go in there. I think, sure, I have that. Put it in the cart. Yeah, obviously, I also have that. Put it in the cart. Then also I suffer from this. Put it in the cart. And then before you know it, I have a cabinet that's overflowing with products that I don't use, and it's exhausting, and everything is a mess, and it's a real...
Just
a real
mess?
pyramid of shame.
Yeah.
A pyramid of shame.
A pyramid of shame.
But Function of Beauty wants to free me from the shame. And they do. Yeah, we actually use it. We love it. Function of Beauty is the world leader in customizable beauty. It offers 100% custom solutions just for you. If you haven't listened to this yet and you want me to explain it, I will. You take a quiz. It is quick, but
Fun
it
quiz.
is thorough. You tell them what your hair needs, what your hair goals are. You can even choose a color and a fragrance. And then Function of Beauty's team determines the right blend of ingredients, bottles your custom formula to order. They deliver it. It's personalized in a cute little customized bottle. They print your name on it along with pumps and stickers. And there's little gifts and a detailed instruction card describing your hair care regimen, not regime. Although it could be a regime.
We don't want a hair care regime.
No, we want a regimen. I like it because they never use sulfates or parabens or any harmful ingredients. I have one kid that is allergic to sulfates. And wouldn't you know it? People like to put sulfates in a lot of different things. Anyway, it's amazing. What are you waiting for? Go to functionofbeauty.com/best to take your quiz and save 20% off on your first hair care order. Functionofbeauty.com/best to let them know that you heard about it from our show, because that's important. We need credit. And then you get 20% off your hair care order. That's functionofbeauty.com/best. Guess what? It's time to say goodbye to
Your problems?
your problems. I'm so excited to say goodbye to my problems. I'm wearing one right now. With Warner's and Olga by Warner's, you can have it all. You can have real solutions for real women. They've been supporting women for over 140 years, and they really know their stuff. You know who I want to go to when I need something? I want to go to the people who've been making it successfully for 140 years. So only occasionally, if it's like a tech thing, do I want to go to like a new guy. But most of the time, I want to go to the company that's had success, knows how to make things for real women, because Warner's is led and designed and run by women. So they know real bodies and they know the issues that we face in fighting our problems. And they're not afraid to talk about everything from underarm bulge or cup spillage. They make comfortable solutions for it all. So support and comfort, yes, please sign me up. Real life, real comfort. I love them. Say goodbye to your problems and say hello to Warner's and Olga by Warner's. You can visit warners.com today and find out where you're going to go get real comfort. Well, I mean, it's going to be weird to think about what we could do with all the extra brain space that won't be taken up by wondering
Existential
if the end of the world, is if our country is devolving into fascism. I was talking to my therapist yesterday about how I think it will actually take a couple years before we're able to have the ability to look back at this time and see what we were all sort of processing and dealing with. And obviously people in marginalized communities or, will have different experiences than, let's say, like white men, right? Like of this time. But I think that like living with that fear of what this has been for everyone has been really like a mind fuck, like a total.
Our bodies
mind fuck.
have never I'm not super old, but like not in my 33 years of life have I ever woken up with a feeling of existential dread about what the leader of the free world might do.
Yeah.
My tweet.
Every
my
day.
tweet.
Every day.
I think that's where my nervousness comes from, because they also say that people that come from like a sort of chaotic situation growing up get very nervous when even at the suggestion of calm. If you are like kind of raised with a chaotic background, then when things are chaotic, you're like, oh, this is like my comfort zone.
I know how to deal
like
with this.
Yeah, I know how to deal with this. And then so even the suggestion of calm has me being like, wait a minute, what's happening? Like, when's
because
the
we've
other
been,
shoe
like,
gonna drop?
We've been tortured.
Yeah.
It's literal psychological warfare that they ran on us. So like there has been literally 4 years of you like waking up and being like, oh God, what have we done? Like as a country. But I feel really good. I'm really happy with Biden as a president too, because like, okay, they don't want to transition. It's not like he needs to walk around the White House and know his fucking way around. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't need your transition.
By the way, I was trying to tell Cricket that I was like, you understand the thing with Kamala, right? Like, this is such a big deal. She's like the first woman that's going to be in this position in the White House. And it's just so incredible, whatever. And she was like, Mom, you really are trying to tell me that no women have been in the White House?
Well, because it's unbelievable.
Like,
it should be
she's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
No, but she meant like literally just like
Oh,
in the White
visited?
House.
Yeah.
She didn't understand what I was trying to get across. She just was like, Mom, the presidents have been married. They've had daughters.
That's like
There
when
have been women in the White House. I'm like, okay.
that's
I
like
know.
when
All
my
right,
friend
Cricket.
Jessie heard that pineapple makes your vagina taste
Like pineapple.
appealing, and then she asked me, how much do you have to put up there?
No.
I love that. I love that for her. She's like,
Honestly,
I mean, I've put like one of those like spears
kebab?
up for. I put a spear up. I don't know what's happening.
Honestly,
it's
I
also
didn't see that
supposed to make
coming.
sperm taste good for blowjobs. Is that right?
Yes,
I
I've
forget.
heard.
I feel like I remember that from back when I was, in the business of blowjobs, high school.
Yeah, pineapple is supposed to be good. We'll probably get some messages from some people with the science.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
boy.
true.
I can't wait.
And they have pink pineapples now, which I'm excited about.
What?
So I can focus
Where?
on that. Yeah.
Where is that?
You know what I do?
Me and Busy's voice jumped like 3 octaves. We both went, what? Where's the pineapple?
You know what I do love? I do love some weird, like spliced fruits. Like,
yeah.
Have you guys had cotton candy grapes?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Trader Joe's has them sometimes.
Once a year, Trader Joe's whips out those cotton candy grapes. And oh my God, you guys, at home, if you have never tried a cotton candy grape, it tastes
like
like a little piece of cotton candy in your mouth, exploding with grapeness. It is wild.
It's so fun because I don't even fuck with grapes like that. And cotton candy is not even like top 10 for my choices if I'm at a fair. But if you tell me that some type of thing is tasting like something it's not supposed to taste like,
Yes.
I'm like, grapes don't taste like that. I gotta try
Yes.
it. It's the best
Me-
thing I've ever had.
Oh my God, me too. I love it. Okay, wait. So real quick, I feel like we've talked a lot about the election. How we feel having this new information. Some of us are nervous.
Yeah.
Some of us are relieved. Some of us are still hungover. That would be me. And now we can do we talk about what we're doing our best at? I feel like I've just been
Sure.
okay. So
yeah.
Casey, what have you been doing your best at? And do you have anything you'd like to share with us today?
I've just been doing my best at, just things. Like I took a little temp job to bring in some extra money. So I've just been doing my best at getting the hang of that. This morning I did my best I was caught in a reply all maelstrom at that new company. And I did my best at not replying all. Are you fucking kidding me? Don't reply all. I think that was very profesh of me. But I'm just gonna say right here, don't reply all. If anyone's listening who has an email, if you get an email, a company-wide email or like a school-wide email, anything, and it's thousands of people, that are on, that are addressed, and you can see all their addresses, you absolutely do not need to click reply all to say thank you or to ask a question. Nothing. You never have to reply all unless absolutely everyone who's listed there needs to hear whatever it is that you're about to say.
I mean, it's a thing that Shantira, does it, I don't know if you are like fall victim to a reply all.
Oh yeah,
ever.
100%. Everyone does it. When I worked at Apple, somebody did a corporate reply all, and everybody from Apple in Chicago to Apple in Tokyo got this email, and we were like, "Oh no." Apple did something, and stopped it.
Oh my God,
Apple
wait,
was like, no,
I almost made a huge error like 2 weeks ago before the election. I think it was because I was doing that Jamie Harrison fundraiser thing, and I was sending out like a last push to a ton of people that I knew. Oh my God. And I was like, Mark, will you just, because I'm not great at spelling and stuff. I make mistakes, guys. I don't have the executive functioning because of the ADD is hard. So a lot of times I'm just like, Mark, will you just, I also think just a tip, it's great to have another set of eyes.
For sure.
Even if you're someone with great executive functioning. Anyway, he looked at it and I was like, great. And so after you read it, you can just hit send. And he was like, okay. And so I left the computer and then he's like, hey, babe. You didn't blind CC anyone. Did you mean to? And I like literally almost sent out like a huge email with a ton of people's emails on it that would be like annoyed that they were not be CC'd. And thankfully, Mark caught it.
One time this entertainment company was that dealt with comedy was sending out an email to every comedian in the world, every famous comedian in the world, plus me, to ask our addresses and like to send us like a Christmas gift. But whoever like the assistant was didn't BCC. And so every famous comedian in the world is on this email list. And of course it's comedians. So everybody is like replying all day. But then it was so fun to see which comedians were getting pissed off and being like, guys, stop this. Like, I'm very important. You have to stop. And which people were still having fun with it. But that was like 7 years ago. And to this day, I will pick up my phone and someone will have replied all to that chain, just being like, hey, when am I getting my water bottle anyway?
Oh my God. Wait, can you tell do you have any names? Can you give us any names? Casey never tells names. I want to know who was a jerk. We'll bleep it out.
I don't want to say who is a jerk, but it's literally every famous comedian though. Literally.
Well, I didn't get one. Damn.
You were probably too young when it started.
Yeah, it was
you were
7 years
still
ago.
in college.
I'm not going to get it now.
I want to know who was like, who thought that they were too.
Take it to the group chat, Casey. We'll get it
fancy.
later.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys in the group
chat.
chat. It was guys.
Of course.
That's
well,
right.
men always take themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
That's what, I mean, that's like the dumbest thing that's of all time. Like in entertainment, especially, it's like, dudes, calm down. It's not rocket science. It's just entertainment. Oh, also, and by the way, Casey, I want to just say congratulations on taking the job.
Thanks.
It's maybe not your dream job in this moment. We're still working on our stuff. We have this podcast. Guys, we're working on merch for you. I have my, I put together those face masks and t-shirts, and all the money is going to Fair Fight to help with the Georgia Senate runoffs. That's a t-shirt that we put the graphic of my messed up cross-stitch, not cross-stitch, whatever it was that I was trying to make. So that's the link's in my profile on Instagram. But we're working on merch. We're doing a lot of things. But I think that it was really great that you took this job because I keep saying, I've said this to you 7 times, but just Christmas money, baby. Just look at it like Christmas money.
I love Christmas money.
Okay, Shantira, what are you doing your best at?
This week I'm doing my best at. We're unpacked. The house is done.
The house is so beautiful. You posted on Instagram.
The painters came. That was the last. I wanted a little pop of color in here. And we are all officially moved in. And if anybody ever looks at those pictures that Busy has been taking, and you always saw 100,000 boxes behind me, the boxes are gone, baby. And it feels really good. To also, I had a really big problem with my moving company moving in here. They were just like garbage people. And I called them like for 30 days and made myself heard. So when I'm famous enough, I'll destroy them. But I just want to let you know that like if you're mad, it's okay to call a business every day until you talk to management.
Do you guys remember last summer, the last normal summer?
Hot girl summer.
Yeah.
Hot girl summer.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember when I went to Chicago to do that talk? And Kiki, who does my hair, Kiki is like the most, like, do you guys know this about Kiki? Okay, so guys at home, Kiki does my hair. You've probably seen her in my stories if you follow me. If you haven't, she's like sweet, the best person, funny. She gives like a mean side eye. She gives like an attitude when it's necessary. She's also like, I have my own ideas about your hair. Calm down. And let me do my job. And then also turns out like rolls in the biggest circles in the biggest ways and like is just like, yeah, I just like took my friend and I like just went on her private plane to like Aspen for the weekend. I'm like, what are you talking about? Who's your friend? And she's like, like the heir to this, like, I don't know. Her dad invented a thing. Like she just knows. So anyway, Kiki had lived in Chicago, and as I was landing in Chicago, I was starving. And I was texting with her and I was like, where should I go? And she's like, Au Cheval to get a burger. And I was like, yeah, but that place is impossible to get in on. She's like, give me 10. But anyway, she was like, give me 10 minutes. I was like, okay. So 10 minutes later, she's like, you're all set. They're holding a place for you at the bar. Like, here's the address. Just have your driver to take you there. But like, because I was flying in for like a job thing, they had booked my car. It wasn't like we had booked my car from the airport, from O'Hare to the hotel, right? And it was late already. It was like already like 9 something. So I get in the car and I had texted Ray and I was like, make sure that the driver can like just stop at Au Cheval. I'll run in, I'll eat this burger. It'll be 45 minutes tops and then I'll go to the hotel. He's like, yeah, no problem. So then I get in the car and the driver, fucking patriarchy, he didn't like me. He immediately didn't like me. Like, I think he just thought, I was just like a girl who like knew what I wanted and he didn't like it. Like when you can,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you can tell that somebody is like,
they want to
fuck
fight
you.
with you. And you're
Yes.
like, I don't want to fight with you. I don't care about your opinion of me. And that makes him mad too.
I swear to God, he was like fighting with me.
Yeah.
And I was on the phone with Mark. Like, I don't remember. There was something going on. Guys, this was years ago. Who fucking knows? Anyway, at this point. But anyway, so I'm like, get in the car. The guy doesn't like me. He's like this real Chicago guy. Like my dad. Like I fucking know these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, so we're going to Au Cheval. And he's like, yeah, but it says that we're going to the W Hotel. And I was like, yeah, I know, but there should be a note in there that we're going to the thing. And he's like, yeah, well, the dispatch said, yeah, I mean, and I was like, all right, but can you just call in and see if there's a note? Because my assistant Raymond said that it's all taken care of and that should be a note in there. So just will you make sure, because we're going to this Au Cheval at this whatever address. And he's like, fine. Okay, fine. And I was like, okay, thank you so much. On the phone with Mark. So Mark's hearing this whole thing. And we get to Au Cheval. And I was like, okay, great. My luggage is in the car, my bag, my computer, everything. I was like, okay, great. So I'll be like 30, 45 minutes. And he's like, well, I'm just supposed to wait for you. And I was like, yeah, they said that you could wait for me and then take me to the W Hotel. And he was like, I was like, does that make sense or something like that? And he was like, whatever. He like literally said whatever to me. I shut the door. I go into Au Cheval. I come out at 10:30. He's gone. I'm in downtown Chicago. I don't know where the fuck I am. And like the driver is gone with like all my stuff. So I try calling him a bunch. The number just goes to voicemail. I'm like calling Ray. I get the company finally. I'm like calling the dispatch and she's like, yeah, the driver said that you screamed at him and that you refused payment. You refused to pay him.
What?
And so that our policy is that like, he's allowed to leave. And I was like, wait, what? I was on the phone with my husband. So my husband heard the exchange.
Yeah.
Like if there was some miscommunication, like that's not, I don't know what to say, but I swear to you, he just literally didn't like me. I was like, I took an Uber to the hotel.
Where's your shit?
Where's my shit? I'm like, where's my fucking shit? So I said that to her. I was like, I just want to know. I'm in the Uber. I'm on my way to the hotel. I'm like, I just want to know where the fuck my shit is. Does this guy have my computer? Like, where is my stuff? She's like, I mean, I assume. She's like, I assume he dropped it off at the hotel. And I was like, okay, this is truly insane. Why am I being punished for just being a girl who wanted a fucking burger?
Well,
like, this
also
is
call you and
crazy.
tell you that he's leaving. Call you and tell you that he left and he dropped off
Right.
your stuff. If you're
Or if
mad,
they're-
that's fine. But like, where's my shit?
No, he wanted to fucking teach me a lesson. I was like too big for my fucking britches because I was like a businesswoman. That's right. I said it. I was a businesswoman who was going to get a burger. Anyway, it was fucking nuts, man. And I tried to call back the next day and complain, and then I lost my nerve and I never talked to them again. And we never figured out.
Wait,
Oh,
where
my stuff
was your
fine.
shit?
My stuff was at that
It
W.
was at the hotel.
Yeah, he did drop my stuff off at the W. So then I guess I got my stuff and I was like, and somebody sent a cheesecake and I was like, all right, well, it's fine. Not the same
Yeah.
people, different people.
It's pretty
you were
wild.
distracted by the cheesecake.
I got distracted by the cheesecake, and then Kiki showed up the next day, and she's like, "That makes no sense." And then we got into like the #1 restaurant in the country with like no problems because Kiki was with us, and the like head chef came over and like kissed her and was like, "Do you know how amazing this woman is?" And I was like, "Yes, but how do you? Like, how does she know everyone all over the world?" Kiki's
very
got
fun.
secrets.
Yeah.
Okay, so. I don't remember what we were talking about.
We
Well,
were
how we're
just
all doing our
talking
best.
about how Shantira did her best complaining to the moving company.
yeah.
And then
I'm bad at complaining.
I reported them to the Better Business Bureau.
That's like a Barbara Phillips move.
I like went full blown like Niecy. My mom is like, you know how sometimes people's parents will like really make a scene and you'll be like, "Ma, please let it go." And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna let it go. So I really just like called. I reported them. I called corporate. I like went full blown middle-aged mom who's seen some shit and knows how to make phone calls.
I think you're really advocating for yourself in all the ways.
Thank you. It really felt good. I mean, like I did not get my money back, but I told him that I'm gonna be mad at him for a long time.
I think that's fair.
That's worth something. That's not.
Oh yeah, but
valueless.
like
Yeah.
I already have I'm playing the long game. I will destroy him.
I believe you.
Busy, what are you doing your best at this week?
I don't know. I feel like Birdie's thriving in New York in a way that's like, I think
she's a
Birdie's
New
a
York
New Yorker.
She's a New York gal, maybe.
She's a New Yorker. She loves it. You know what's
I
weird
think Cricket
though?
is comfortable anywhere. I think Cricket's like a vibe. Is she not?
I don't know. She's not loving it, Shantira.
Maybe she's like me, because I'd
Well-
rather die.
You know what Casey said about like the election and people who grew up in chaotic places or whatever, and like how, okay. So just this theory I just came up with, like Birdie's whole energy is like anxiety and chaotic and stuff. And there's something about this city, which is totally
That
chaotic
vibe.
and anxiety producing, that like evens her out, like
Yeah.
calms her down. She is like happy and thriving in this city. And Cricket is very overwhelmed by it. And I think it's because she's a kid who does not exist in like a chaotic or neurotic or anxiety producing way.
Yeah.
And so for her, this city is like, why is it so loud? Why is it so scary? Why are there so many people? Like, why I don't like this. Like it's too, it's just too much for her or something.
That is a good explanation for like, because I do not like New York for all of those reasons.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, it's a city where like, if something can go bad, if it will for me, do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever been somewhere and you've been like, yo, when I'm here, like, I lose my wallet every time I come here. I gotta
Yeah.
stop coming here. So like, that's how New York is for me. So the way that you just described it, the way that Cricket feels, exactly 100%.
But
is the way
you're
I feel
also
in
a
New York.
Cancer baby.
Yes,
like
I'm a Cancer
cricket.
baby. Yeah, and it's too much. The city's too much.
The city's too much for her. And like she's little nature. She's thriving out when we've like been on the weekends upstate to visit. Like she thrives in upstate. She loves it. But the city itself is just
It's a lot.
She keeps asking if when we get to go home.
Mm.
And like on Saturday morning, I was so sad. Like she crawled into bed and she's like, these guys are just outside and they're throwing all the bottles around everywhere. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, look at the garbage men. We're just like Saturday early morning throwing the trash in. And like she could hear it in her bedroom and she just was like bummed. So I don't know. I'm trying to help her adjust. I'm trying to help her learn how to speak up for herself. That's not something she's ever been the greatest at. And like, I really think that teaching especially all of your children, but especially your girls, to advocate for themselves is important. This is not something that a lot of people put a priority on, I think, in parenting.
It's really important. Yeah.
It's really important. I think we forget that people get so conditioned
Yes,
by their
absolutely.
upbringing, and that and modeling behavior is so important. And, you know, I've also noticed, it's really interesting. I'm going to try to do better. I've also noticed I feel like the tenor of the way that Mark and I talk to each other is not great again. And I feel like we're really just like the way we talk to each other is just like bullshit. And I think our kids are picking up that and like they're talking to us kind of like that. It's just, I don't like it. And I mean, the emotional component of all of that is like for therapy, right? But there is also just like a behavioral element sometimes. And like you're stressed out. And like for me, my default, because that was the way I was raised, is to go to that place of like, are you a fucking idiot? No, I don't know where your fucking phone is.
Yeah.
You know? But that's like what my family was like. And then like 10 minutes later, everybody's fine. And that's not normal or a great way to model behavior. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're all unlearning. We're all unlearning.
But I've worked literally since I was 23 years old to try to break myself of that being my thing. And I think just in this, especially like this transition and being so stressed about the election and stressed about living in New York and all this and the pandemic. I mean, literally fucking whatever, name a thing.
We're resetting.
I have to reset.
I think everybody right now, all of us, every good, kind, decent person is resetting. We've all just been kind of survival mode. So that's really hard to go 4 years in survival mode. So now it's like, boop. Who was I before all of this? I have no idea. I have no idea who I was.
Well, that's the fucking thing, Shantira.
Yeah.
And I guess that's also like part of my, I don't know, just like my journey this week and few
From
days,
here on
whatever.
out.
It's like,
We're all
yeah,
grown.
I mean, there's a lot that, I don't know. There's just a lot. There's a lot. But one thing I want to try to do, but I have identified and I want to really try to start to focus on is just that thing of the way that we communicate with one another, because I just feel like it's affecting everything. It's affecting our kids, and I don't know. It's just hard. It's just fucking hard, man. Also, you guys, those people offered us again on our house. They brought another offer on our house.
Well, now you have energy to focus on that instead of the world crumbling.
I guess. I'm trying to do my best. I don't fucking know. Listen, there are a few people that were not doing their best this week, or were doing their I mean, what's happening in the pop culture sphere?
Well, you know who's doing her best this week? Oprah.
Who?
She put out
Oprah,
She put out the
yeah.
list of favorite things.
I didn't
so
even get
nice.
to see it. Just today, though, right?
I think it was maybe like yesterday or something. I don't know. Here's the thing. It's not tied to the show anymore. It used to be tied to the show, and it was like such a huge event. It's not the same as when she would give everybody in the audience everything on the list and they would lose their fucking minds.
Yeah,
And-
it was really fun to
Yeah.
watch. I always used to watch it and be like, damn, I wonder how you get on that show. And my friend got to go on Ellen for Ellen's Christmas. like the way when she ended up getting tickets, it
Yeah.
was like when she was giving away all that shit, and her
Yeah.
mom was visiting, and she got like a TV. It was like her mom lives in the suburbs of Chicago, and it was like a fucking dream come true for like a mom from the burbs to come, and Ellen
Yeah.
just gave them so much shit, and I'm like, that was nice. I wish that I could watch a whole bunch of like middle-aged moms win like free Tupperware. It's very cathartic.
It's very cathartic. It's
love
not the
it.
same as it used to be. You know,
I
nothing's the
know.
same. But by the same token, it comes out every year. It's like a signpost that like it's a certain time of the year. So it felt good to me to see that it came out.
Wait, you know what was really good? What made me really happy this week were those 2 little marsupial species in Australia that
the
were
cutest
discovered.
creature that's ever
Because you guys,
existed.
nature is healing.
Nature is healing. Everybody was so excited. All the people that do that for a job, whatever that is. What is
Yeah,
it? Conservationist? Naturalist?
I like to think that they found one in a pouch of the other. That's what I'm going. That's my
real cute.
science.
You know what they look like though? They look like Stitch from the movie Lilo and Stitch.
Oh yeah, they're like a light
Are
skin
they?
Stitch.
like a Furby. A little bit.
You guys, do you think that these are like something sent from another planet?
I'll take.
Why not?
I mean, they.
Pity.
Why not? I'll take it. It can't be no worse than what we got on ours already.
No. They're so cute. They're much better than what we already have on ours. They're so cute.
Do you know who else is so cute?
Who?
Our guest today.
Oh yes.
Okay,
he's
guys.
so
Well, here's the
cute.
deal. When we started the podcast in August, I was like, well, we got to book Jordan Firstman because he is the only person who's managed to turn this pandemic into anything useful for his career. and maybe that's not fair. Maybe other people have as well. But what?
Siri said hello.
No, you guys. What is she doing?
I don't know.
Sure, I understand.
Can you hear this?
Yes.
Why is she talking to me? Stop. You guys, I've never turned Siri on. It won't turn off.
Okay. You have to just
No.
throw her out the door.
You know what I think? I think that it's AI. I think that I'm onto something. And I think it's Terminator, alien theory. And
You got too close.
I got too close. It's too hot to handle.
With
Like
the
when
marsupial
Kelly and I were-
aliens.
Yeah. Like when Kelly and I were really stoned in her backyard and we're talking about Terminator theory. And then 3 helicopters all of a sudden were overhead. And we were like,
That's
we're
it?
onto something. Anyway, Jordan Firstman, he is a writer, a comedian, an actor, not a model now. And during COVID lockdown, shutdown number 1, I found his Instagram account and the impressions of inanimate objects that he started to do to be like a small bright spot in an otherwise never-ending dull pit of despair. I was not alone. People like Ariana Grande and then millions and millions of others after that also found his impressions to be a little bright spot.
Truly.
It was a real pivot for him. Let's listen. Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties. It's crucial in life, in health, and it's crucial in business. So if you're in charge of hiring, it should be in every job description. And we're all being called to do it all the time right now, truly. We have to be resilient. So listen, Indeed.com is the #1 job site in the world because Indeed gets you the best people and fast. Unlike other sites, Indeed gives you full control and payment flexibility over your hiring. You only pay for what you need. You can pause your account at any time, and there are no long-term contracts. Plus, Indeed provides powerful tools to make your search that much easier, like sponsored jobs, which are shown to be 3.5 times more likely to result in a hire. With 73% of online job seekers visiting Indeed each month, Indeed is going to get you the important hire you need, just like they have for over 3 million businesses. That's a lot of businesses. Right now, Indeed is offering our listeners a free $75 credit to boost your job post, which means more quality candidates will see it fast. Try Indeed out with a free $75 credit at Indeed.com/do-your-best. This is their best offer available anywhere. Go right now to Indeed.com/do-your-best. Terms and conditions apply. Offer valid through December 31st.
Happy New Year.
Okay, guys, listen. It is a time to never stop learning. That is what time it is. It's a time to never stop learning, never stop growing. You're interested in something, there's no time like the present. Take a class, learn about it, but busy. There's a pandemic. Also, when can I do that? I don't know. Well, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. It's so cool, you guys. You're interested in photography. You can take photography classes. You can explore new skills. Maybe it's fine art. You can deepen existing passions. Maybe it's, I don't know, plants. I'm trying to learn how to have a green thumb here in this new apartment. I felt like maybe, plants would be a thing that would help me feel cozy. But I have never kept a plant alive. It's why I like cut flowers. But you know what? With Christopher Griffin, aka @PlantQueen, I am learning how to take care of those plants. Even that really hard one that everyone puts on their Instagrams, the fiddle fig leaf one that I have killed 5 of. 5 have died.
That's tragic.
Have been taken out of my custody by gardening professionals. And they have said, you're not getting this back. That is a true story. Well, now with Skillshare, I'm gonna get that green thumb, guys. I really am. It's pretty incredible. It's like super fun. So it offers membership with meaning. You have so much to explore, real projects to create, and the support of fellow creatives. You'll meet people. It empowers you to accomplish real growth. It's a great way to refresh your creativity. If you're feeling like, I feel like we had a letter a couple weeks ago with somebody who was feeling like her job is great, but doesn't feel super creatively fulfilled.
Yes.
Like, this is the perfect thing for that. Skillshare is the perfect thing for that, because you can go break up your routine. You could break up your routine. Break up your routine with spontaneous acts of creativity, and you can explore workshops. And maybe you're like, I really want to macrame. And you can do that. Like, you can search for all of these things. They have new live classes. You can experience real-time inspiration with popular teachers along with new members. Most classes are under 60 minutes, and they fit any schedule. There are no ads. They're always launching new premium classes, and it's less than $10 a month with an annual subscription. I can't recommend this enough. I think it's so cool.
Very
to
cool.
be able to be anywhere in the world, and you can I want to learn a new thing. I'm interested in getting some creative juice out. I want to do this. Well, that's where Skillshare comes in to play. So explore your creativity at Skillshare.com/best. And the first 1,000 people to use our link are going to get a free trial of Skillshare premium membership. That's so exciting. That's what I have. I have the free trial right now of the premium membership, and I love it. So I'm going to probably sign up when it's done. So receive free access to thousands of classes for a limited time. Be one of the first 1,000 to sign up at Skillshare.com/best. I promise you're going to find something that's going to be super fun, and you're going to love it. And it's really going to be a good thing for all of us. We're at a new time. We're turning a corner.
And you deserve it. You deserve it.
Re-engage your creativity. Let's do it. Jordan, how's it going?
I'm okay. I'm a little tired, but I'm going to get the energy up at some point.
Welcome to my life. I'm constantly tired. I mean, we all are.
I'm feeling that I've been firing on all cylinders for the past little bit.
Yeah. Well,
There's
you
a
really have. Talk
there's a
about a
lot
pivot.
There's a lot happening in the life of Firstman.
Tell me what's happening. I'm so first of all, I'm thrilled that you're here chatting with us. And you were actually like one of the first names that when we sort of pivoted and decided what this podcast was going to be about, as opposed to what it initially was supposed to be about, you were one of the first names I brought up because I was like, the pivot that has happened for you, specifically during core, has been like a real monumental career changer, I think.
Wait, is your pivot?
Oops, sorry. That's my earring. I'm like a mom from the 80s who has to like take off her big earrings in order to talk on her big cell phone.
In your big closet?
In my big closet.
You're like Angelica Pickles' mom.
I am
Oh my
Angelica
God.
Pickles' mom.
Hey,
Wait,
what was the deal?
What was
She was like a
business
lady.
woman.
Oh, right.
And she had the Zach Morris phone. So she was like, even in the cartoon, she was like a bad bitch.
She was like Madonna, right? She looked like Madonna.
Yeah, she was like
Kinda,
blonde and
yeah.
had, yeah.
Guys, I think I might be actually Angelica Pickles' mom. I think we just discovered a real thing.
I mean, all
We got
day,
Phil
baby.
and Will down there.
Susie Carmichael till the day I die.
I hate to like say I'm the lead, but like I do feel like a Tommy Pickles.
You are.
I mean,
Oh my God.
You would
You are.
definitely. You would lead the
Totally.
babies. You would lead the babies. And they would follow you. And then I would just
I
come
lead
in
the
every once in a while and be like, how you doing?
I guess that makes me Chucky.
Chucky's
A little
fun.
bit. Your
She
Chucky's
fit.
cute.
And when they grew up, Chucky was so cute.
Yeah.
Chucky,
Yeah,
Chucky
all
had
the
the
way-
best outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Did they ever
Would
do
wear
a
that.
live action Rugrats?
Oh no.
Right?
They should.
I don't.
Let's
oh
do
my
it.
Gosh.
Let's.
What if
Yeah.
it's like Riverdale? What if it's dark and and,
Yeah.
fucking
I would love that.
genius?
Yeah.
and
I would
what
love that.
someone's been murdered?
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. They're doing a dark Fresh Prince. I'll send you guys the preview, the trailer. It's amazing.
Oh, nice.
Honestly,
It's
like
amazing.
West Philadelphia vibes.
It is. It's here in Bel Air, but it's like a dark version and like truly make your own content. It's this kid who made a trailer because he was obsessed with Fresh Prince and he made like this dark version and it got picked up for 2 seasons. It's literally really worth it. Like I watched it and I was like, yeah, give him 1,000 shows.
I want that. I want to
All
watch
yeah.
that.
Out there, make trailers. You should be making trailers every day.
Yes.
That's the way. You know what though? Here's what it is. How do we let's get into it. I love you so much. So we've known each other for a long time. Actually, at the beginning of Core, you very sweetly sent me a pick me up of some chocolate chip cookies that was very well needed and was like an act of kindness that was like just really lovely. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, I just knew you liked cookies, and then I got
do.
these cookies, and I was like, I'm gonna send these cookies to Busy, and that was kind of the whole story.
That's it. That's it. That's where it the beginning, middle, and end. But-
Honestly, you did more than most people because a lot of people think about it and never
Yeah.
follow through. So
Oh, the
Follow
follow
through.
through.
the follow through
is everything.
is everything. So
Yeah,
be about it.
I like generosity. I think I'd like to think of myself as a generous person. And as I, begin to be able to take care of myself financially, I like giving gifts to my friends. That's fun for me.
I love that. I'm also the same way. And my therapist and I talk about it because sometimes I get a little miffed if I realize that I'm doing it in order to get a cookie in return. Like
Right,
if I'm
right.
doing it or
That's
if I'm just genuinely doing it. And so I've had to like learn how to identify what it is,
A metaphorical
Yeah.
cookie.
a metaphorical cookie, not a literal cookie from
Because-
you, Jordan Firstman.
Bitch
Yeah.
wants a real literal cookie
Mhm.
every time.
You gotta give to give. You can't give to get.
Right, exactly. That's right. But anyway, so let's discuss it. So Jordan's a performer and a writer. I knew you as a writer mostly who would like dabble in some performance.
Yeah.
And I how long ago is that Instagram post about a career setback that you had that like I reached out to you and was like, can we talk? I'm feeling this real hard. How long ago was that?
That was January.
January. Interesting. January 2020.
Yeah.
Jordan Firstman had basically a fucking heartbreak, a career heartbreak.
I had two heartbreaks back in the course of 3 days.
Oh man.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And it was actually like, I won't go into it too much to protect the other person involved. But on a Sunday night, I broke up with my boyfriend.
Who you'd been with for a very long time.
Major relationship, like the whole 20s. That was that. That was who I was. Like all the friends were the same. The work was the same. Everything was overlapped. Like that was my life. We had spent 4 years developing a movie together that was like just about to get financed. So we broke up. So that project got killed. 4 years gone. And then like my one thing, I was like, okay, I have my show. And I had been working on this show.
That was deeply personal.
That had been through like a million setbacks and set forwards and like everything in between. That was another 4 years of my life. On that Tuesday, the network called to kill the show.
Oh,
Done.
man.
After like the week before I had met with them, and they were like, it's happening.
Right. Which is always like, can I just tell you, because obviously I've worked in this business for 20 years. Mark has worked in this business for longer than 20 years because he's so much older than me. But but that is a thing that has happened to both of us multiple times where you're told this is happening. I hope you're ready to go to Vancouver or whatever the fuck they say, you know? And then the rug gets pulled out from under you. And first, you know, and in those moments, to me, it's always the most devastating. And when I read your Instagram post in January and it was specific to that project, my heart was just breaking for you because you could see like every ounce of your creative person had been poured into this thing. And you were like, you just saw it. This was your future. This was what was going to happen. You were going to be in production in March on this show. Yeah. And the rug got pulled and you were just like, this is my impression of it. But it felt like you were just like, I'm at a loss. I'm at a fucking loss. Yeah.
Well, it was my whole life. It was every aspect of my life was gone in the course of 2 days. So I was like, I don't have a partner anymore. I don't have everything creatively that I've worked on for the last 4 years is dead. I don't know if I have an apartment. I don't know if I have friends. Like it was everything. And I really thought I was like, oh boy, here we go. This is going to be a bad year. And then almost immediately it was then that Saturday of that same week was the Indie Spirit Awards where I wrote the Laura Dern song.
Right. Which was incredible.
That was like, I felt like my first sign of like, shit's going to be okay. Like this is like, you have this, like you're okay. Good things are coming. This will you're not going to die. And then it's the rest of the year. I mean, it's obviously been an insane year for a million reasons, but just like my spiritual growth, my like professional growth, like my personal development has just been on such an upward mend. And like, I feel like I was like in a slingshot and like, those like tethers I had and like the show, even though I cared about it so much, like it was creatively and emotionally holding me back because I only cared about it.
See, let's speak to that for 1 second because this is like really good for people to hear. Talk a little bit about how putting all of your focus on that thing kind of prevented you from exploring other avenues.
Well, it was like the way I perceived my life. I was like, okay, I've put in, this is everything I have to say to this point as an artist. This will come out and my life will be what I want it to be. And like, this is the thing. This is the first thing. And the thing I learned just in general about art, and it's kind of like the gag of Hollywood, but like in order to get anything made, you have to put all of yourself into it. And it has to be so fucking good. I mean, if you want it to be good. I mean, a lot of bad things get made.
Some people don't care about that, to be
That
fair.
is-
Some people,
That is true.
it's not
It
on
is
the agenda.
But the thing like I had to learn about art in general and creativity in general is that like it will never love me back.
Ooh.
I loved it so much and like I cared about it so much, but at the end of the day, it was like pages of a script and it didn't love me back and it couldn't protect me. Like I did everything in my power to protect it, but
Mhm.
it couldn't protect me back. And
That's right.
like letting go of that was really major for me. And like it's just life. It's like you have to try and you have to be willing to get hurt. It's love. It's more love than it is life. It's the same as love where you have to put yourself in it fully and know that you're probably going to get hurt somewhere along the way, but you just do it because that's what you have to do.
That's so wise.
I always say that, like, I love what I do, but until the money's in the bank, not even the check being cashed. I had a friend who got a check and they spelled his name wrong. So even if you get the check,
It's not
even
always-
if you get the
Yeah.
check, you know, so having the hope that like it can still happen. So many people put what they do before who they are, and it really ends up really fucking them. But really loving yourself hard, that way when the check comes and your name's spelled wrong, you could be
Yeah.
like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, I love
here.
that.
Well, that's the other thing I learned in such a big way this year is that like I am all I have. And like I watched everything get taken away from me and like instead of being less of myself, I became myself fully. Like I was like pushed back
Okay.
myself in such a huge way.
Yes. And so this is really interesting because what has happened to you since May, I relate so deeply to because it's essentially what happened to me
Yeah.
4 years ago or whatever when Instagram stories started. Is
Yeah.
that 4 years ago already? Yeah. Yeah. That's fucking nuts. And like, I just have seen this summer, like the trajectory of what has happened. Because for those of you who are listening at home and you don't follow Jordan on Instagram, first of all, what the fuck are you doing with your lives?
I'm sorry.
Secondly,
I feel bad for you.
honestly, I feel bad for you. But secondly, starting in May, that was the first one, right? Like banana bread vibes was the first one.
April was like the first. April like 10th or something was the first round.
You're like, not that I'm keeping track, but it was April 10th.
But it was such a huge leap. Like it happened so fast that I'm like,
Right.
I know what April was like, and I know what it's like now.
Right. So you go from this place where you're kind of just like broken and then you're just left with yourself.
Yeah.
And you did the thing that I did too, which is like turned the camera on and you're like, is this thing on?
Yeah.
Is anybody out there?
Yeah.
And Jordan started doing impressions. But how do you describe the impressions for somebody who's maybe never seen the impression?
I would say that they're impressions of ideas. I
Right.
think that's like simply put, like
Yes.
they're not impressions of like a celebrity or a specific person, even sometimes they are, but mostly they're like impressions of thoughts that I have.
Right. And so it's like the impression, the first one has to be Banana Bread's publicist, right?
No, that was like the major blow up, but
Oh, okay.
there was a bunch. You were there before that.
Excuse me, sir. I've been there forever.
Yeah.
And also like the aforementioned very sad Instagram post of January 2020 was therefore reached out to you directly, was like, hey, can we get on the phone?
Yeah.
Like, I need to talk. I like literally was like, I need to connect with you. What can we do? I want to make this better.
Yeah.
But luckily I did not because it brought you to your impressions.
Yeah.
What was the first impression? Do you remember?
The first round was like the guy who's addicted to saying that his life isn't that different in quarantine.
That's right. Yes. I love him.
I can't remember. Oh, like the like parent that's like forcing her kid to microdose before school every day. I've done like 120 now in the last 6 months.
Oh my God.
I love how they're so specific, but so subtle. But subtle is the wrong. It's about like a subtle situation, a subtle and specific situation. But then what you do with it is so funny that everyone's like, oh, yes, I've been that person.
Right. It's very, right. Exactly. It's super relatable because of its specificity.
Yeah.
And it obviously just came from a very genuine place of like, you know, your brain.
Yeah. It was literally just my brain. And after like what felt so good, and like, honestly, what has felt so good about this whole thing, and it's actually kind of shocking to me, is that like, the impressions are one thing, and like that is my brain, and like that's what I think is funny, and people just like got it. And after being told like no from networks for so many years, I was like, okay, like I knew the whole time like I had something to say.
Yes.
And then people were listening, but even like beyond that, I thought like, okay, well now they only like me for these like very broad funny impressions, but then I like still posted my slut pictures and they accepted that. And then and like talk about God and like spirituality, and they accepted that. Like, and I feel like I'm like truly being accepted for like so many multitudes of myself. And like that to me is the biggest shock. But I think it's such a good lesson. Like when you do just be your complete and total self and don't just give people like the thing you think they want from you, they'll show up and like they will accept you.
Yeah. That's so important. Yeah.
I think certainly in this industry, I know that my own personal journey, it's also just like sort of the message that the industry tries to give you to keep you down in a way, you know, which is that like I always was trying to conform or trying to guess at what would resonate and what they would react to in order to give me the ability to show more. When the truth is, now we have this direct line to people, and you just show what the more is. And
you made your own trailer.
Yeah,
you made your own trailer. You make your own trailer.
That's right.
It's also so strange because we're making these things for this, this strata of people that are such a small sampling of the, who our work is potentially going out to.
Well, Casey and I talk about that all the time. Like,
it's also like a very rarefied sampling. Like they tend to be wealthy. They tend to have different.
And they're white.
Yeah, and they're white,
men,
and
straight.
Men, whoever. And so, like when I sometimes hear like, oh, I don't think that people are going to respond to that. Like, I'm like at the point where I almost get excited about it because I'm like, well, people like you are often wrong. So I feel like I'm really onto something.
Also, who is people? You know what I mean? Like, we have to specify. There's 7 billion people in the world. The average television watcher is not the average television executive. You know what I mean? Yeah. So who are people? And I always say this because Busy and Casey hired me for Busy Tonight. And I couldn't have been more myself in that interview if I tried, because it is so hard. Like, let's say you get hired and it goes 6 seasons in a movie. You have to pretend to be that bitch you pretended to be in that interview for 6 seasons in the movie. Ah, man, it's going to be hard. Possible. You're not going to be able to remember all the shit you made up.
Sorry, this is such a tangent, but like Friends is so fascinating to me. And like that show works so well because like after like 3 episodes, they just knew the actors and knew how to write for them. And then like that whole story about them like demanding $1 million per episode, it's like, yeah, you are using my spirit. You're using my personality. You have like, this is not the character anymore. This is Jennifer Aniston. These are my quirks. These are like how I speak. And so it's like, they do deserve to be compensated for being themselves because the world tuned in for them.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Jordan, okay, I have a couple of specific questions.
Oh, wow. Okay. What are your
bits
specific
are so
questions?
specific? So I just want to backtrack a little bit because I'm very curious about this. So you break up and then you get the bad news from the network. So you break up, it kills your movie. Then you get the bad news a couple days later from the network that your show isn't going to go. And then there's like a span of time before the Independent Spirit Awards where you had like an upswing. So during that time, what you must have, I'm assuming you kicked into like some kind of like barely survival mode.
I was like a phoenix, right? I literally, like exploded into the world. Like every single person I made eye contact with, I had sex with. Like it was just, it was truly like instantaneous freedom that was like so apparent in my spirit. And I felt like I was like Roadrunner. Like I was going so fast. I was the happiest I had ever been, ever.
Wow. That is not what I expected you to say at all.
Not what I expected to be feeling, but it happened. And like, it was just like, the boys were endless. Everyone loved being around me. I was so happy. I was so positive. I was so free. I was so funny. And like, it was just like, I was like, we're doing this. Like, let's go. I'm a free man.
You were like Conan O'Brien when Jay Leno took his show back.
There is something to be said for giving zero fucks.
Yeah.
You know? And like, I think that when you get that kind of, when everything gets sort of stripped away at the same time, it's a rare moment that happens.
I feel lucky. I feel lucky to have gotten that moment.
Because then all of this has come after. So just let's like, since, I mean, April, right? The impressions started, and then May, the banana bread publicist was just really, that was a viral sensation. Yeah. I remember, okay, here's when I first, because I was like loving the impressions from the beginning, obvi. But here's when I noticed, I was like, is that really Ariana Grande that liked that? Like, what the fuck is happening? What? Like, all of a sudden I was like, oh my God, this is like, and I had already felt like this is a thing. Like, I knew this was a thing. But when I saw, I think it was Ariana Grande, I was like, wow, okay, this is like another level. And then it just like exploded. Yeah. So since then, Jordan, I just want to give this to you. Since then, let's look. Vogue.com, W Magazine, WWD.com, Star of Instagram 2020, Jordan Firstman on Coveteur's 10 most influential people online, Backstage, how Jordan Firstman and his impressions became the breakout star of the pandemic. I mean, so many. Then here's your Grindr profile. Jimmy Kimmel, Advocate, like countless articles and press and people wanting a piece of you. Yeah. And like, where do you go? What are you doing? Flaunt Magazine, Wall Street Journal. Come on, guys.
There's been some press. There's been a little bit of press. Which is like another weird thing that like you think you know how. I like always thought I was like, I'm gonna be friendly boys. Like I'm gonna fucking slay the press. Like I'll have things to say about everything. And then like you're doing, and I had a really bad, like I was in a weird emotional state in August. Honestly, like I just redid my apartment and it's like you can't go in there without doing drugs. It's just like built for the job. And so like I had like what am I allowed to say on here?
You can say
everything.
I like had 2 big Coke weekends in a row.
Right. And we love honesty.
And like Coke fucking is the devil. Coke I'm like so anti-Coke now. But like I was, and like I was having a really bad come down, like full dissociation. Like I was like, is that a wall? Like, where am I? And I'm so anxious and like everything is bad. I feel bad. And then I'm doing press every day.
Oh my God.
While I'm feeling
so insane.
And yeah. And I had like, it was like 2 weeks where like, for some reason, the press just like all was set up in that like 2 weeks.
Yes.
And I was just like, preaching about like, because I had all these platitudes that I had already been talking about, and I was like positivity and expansion and outward and like all this shit, and then I'm like, I want to die. Like this. When
you read it back, you're like, uh-oh.
I just haven't, like all of those things you name, I haven't read. Like I can't read them.
Got it. Copy that. Well,
But
to be fair, neither have I. So, you know.
I'm sure they say nice things about me. But yeah, it was just really, it was weird. And like the whole thing, like
if it was bad, we would have known about it. Just
that's true.
let you know.
Actually,
If it was bad, you would have got some phone calls. You would have got dragged, and we would not be interviewing you right now.
You didn't say anything. You didn't say anything so controversial.
The Phoenix can also fall, and they would have dragged your beautiful fire wings back down to the ground if you fucked it up. So no worries, baby.
I've been dragged down. Like I have like a couple moments in all of this. I have flown too close to the sun and I have been dragged down, and that's an important thing. Like I definitely have the propensity to fly too high.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, life always like finds a way to make me a fool, which I'm like really grateful for. I think like my cosmic joke is that like I'm constantly searching for like the biggest life and the most meaning and like the most of everything. And then like something will happen that's just like, you're an idiot. Like you're an idiot. And like you made a fool out of yourself, and you are a fool, and only a fool. You're not a god. You're a fool.
The universe can keep you humble.
Yeah.
I love the concept of hubris. I think it's like the best thing that the universe does is addressing hubris. I feel like the same thing happens to me too. So I strongly identify with what you just
Please,
said,
I've been smited myself. Jordan, what is your astrological sign? Are you a Cancer?
I'm a Cancer.
Yeah, I knew that. Me too.
Same.
When are
Cancer
you?
baby.
Cry.
Oh yeah, I'm a Cancer baby. I'm also a Cancer in the Eastern astrology too. I have my Vedic chart read, so I'm Cancer all over the world.
Cancer.
Guys, I have to tell you, we moved into this rental, and as Shantira put it, it looked like a very wealthy man who works in finance decided that everything should just be gray and silver and white, and that's how he decorated
real Christian Grey vibes.
It's real Christian Grey vibes. And you know what I needed? I needed some color in here. So we found this amazing service called Framebridge. It makes it easier and more affordable than ever to frame all of my favorite things without leaving the house, which, you know, is great. Art prints, posters, got Birdie's little women poster framed, and photos that are on my phone that I would love to have in frames just to make it all feel a little bit like homier here. Framebridge does just about anything. It's the perfect way to give easy and thoughtful gifts. You know it's about to be that time. Get on it. This is the moment to order. And then do you know how happy you're going to be in December when you're like, oh yeah, I already got my parents a present. I already got my sister and her husband a present of their kids in that frame from when I took them to Disneyland 2 years ago, and she's been asking me to email her the pictures for ever since. And I was the one that kept the card that had the number on it where I could get the pictures online, and I never did it, but now I did it. Framebridge.com. You upload your photo, or they'll send you a package to safely mail in your physical pieces. You preview your item online in dozens of frame styles and gallery wall layouts. You choose your favorites. You get free recommendations. The experts at Framebridge will custom frame your item and deliver your finished piece straight to you or anyone on your list. It's that easy. It's so easy. Easy is my favorite thing. A handcrafted, personalized gift from Framebridge starts at $39 and all shipping is free. Plus, our listeners are going to get 15% off their first order at framebridge.com when they use my code OURBEST. So it's already really brightened up my Christian Grey rental and made me feel like more comfortable. I have like cute pictures of my family up and my parents, my sister and her kids. And anyway, I just highly recommend it. Get started today. Frame your photos. Send someone the perfect gift. Go to framebridge.com and use promo code OURBEST to save an additional 15% on your first order. Just go to framebridge.com, promo code OURBEST, framebridge.com, promo code OURBEST. So, obviously, I wanted to talk to you because I love you and you're the greatest. And I'm so I'm like I really have loved watching what has happened for you career-wise in the last several months.
Thanks.
And thinking back to our conversation in January when you were just so bummed creatively. Now, where do you feel like you want to go next?
I feel like I have it. I feel like this whole like thing has it's actually made the path go in like a million different directions, which I'm sure you experience like as well.
Yeah.
But like now so many random ass opportunities are coming that I'm like, yeah, why? Like, that's like, sure. I'll like be a model now. Like I'm a model now.
What are you modeling?
I'm like, I mean, like, it's like an agency reached out. I was like, can you model? There's like a couple fashion brands that want me to like do some stuff.
Yes.
It's not like huge stuff, but it's like, okay, that, and then there's a book person. And then there's like the like now am I making money from Instagram? Am I doing ads on Instagram? Like we're figuring all of that out right now.
And by the way, yes, you are.
I should, right?
You should do it now while it still exists. Because I have like a weird feeling because of Facebook and stuff that it's going to like disappear.
Okay.
As an
I
option.
think that, and like, I do have like a little bit of, you know, it's just like, I feel a little weird about it, but at the same time, I've put out so much content for free that like, I would say that's like my form of payment if I do a couple ads.
So obviously I'm very open about like, you know, I do tons of brand deals and like work with brands and stuff. And this is just, if you want advice, I can give it to you.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I don't have to. We can just move on.
I'm very open to talking about this right now.
Okay. So here's what I feel like as artists. We are in the business of selling stuff. And that lesson for me was learned at age 19 when 20 when Freaks and Geeks was canceled because our ratings weren't high enough. And I was like, well, what does that even matter? And they're like, well, because they can't charge as much for the ad buys on the show. And then I was like, this is just about advertising? and I was like crushed. Like, we're making like a beautiful fucking show and this is about selling soap. And then I realized that like, this is how artists get to do what they want to do and how they do what they love, is that a lot of times it involves selling soap. And so the trick becomes, first of all, being able to like be the one to sell the soap yourself and get all of the money from it is kind of incredible because you're cutting out people who previously were just making money on you. And secondly, you decide what makes sense and like what feels right to you in terms of the kind of soap you sell. So it's not always going to be every offer isn't taken. Like you have to be a little bit discriminatory in terms of like the things that you like. For instance, I always try a thing. Like if it's a product and I haven't, and it's not something that I personally use or love, I'm like, well, okay, can they send it to the house? Let me try it. And if it's something that like truly I'm like, oh, this is disgusting, I'm not going to sell it. And the only time, Casey knows this, I went against this one fucking time. Shantira knows it too. I'd said no. They came back with more money. I said no again. They came back with more money. It was now an obscene amount of money. And I was like, an obscene. And I was like, guys, I guess I'm just going to do this. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Okay. Right. Like I'm doing it. And it turned out to be a total fucking shit show. And then the president of the company got mad about something I tweeted and they withheld literally $150,000 from me that they still have not paid me. And they refused to pay me.
Wow.
Because the guy was like a fucking baby and was like upset about a tweet.
He was acting like a jilted boyfriend.
He was acting like he was my boyfriend. It was the craziest. I mean, like.
Also, every tweet's not about you.
Did they air the thing?
I did the whole thing. No, by the way, they scrapped the whole thing. But the moral of the story is if your gut about a thing is like, I don't feel like this is a product I want to put my name behind or like do something with, go with the gut because it's always going to serve you.
Yeah.
That's good advice. You owe 10% of whatever you make now.
Scene. And now, yes, and now I would like 10% of your commercial earnings.
So I'm doing ads for BP oil.
Jordan, can I ask you a question? I want to go back a little bit. So breakup, movies killed, show is killed by the network. You rise from the ashes like a phoenix. You felt like you're funnier than ever before. All of that. That's when this comedy started. That's when, can I ask like what you were thinking? Were you thinking like, I'm just bored and I'm going to do this to entertain myself. This is for my friends. My 5 friends are going to laugh at it. Like, what were you expecting or hoping to happen? Or did you have any expectations?
With the impressions, I had absolutely no expectations. I like posted them on my stories and I got a couple cry faces, a couple hearts, a couple lols.
I was like a heart, cry face, heart.
Yeah. And like, it was not an overwhelming response, but people were like mildly gagged. And so that like a week, I was like, I'm going to do one of these every day for a week, just as a creative exercise. Because I had been being a full on pornographic gay whore on Instagram before that. Like,
yes.
I was literally
I love whores.
And like that's what I needed to do post breakup. Like I needed that for myself.
Sure.
And my body was looking really hot, and like I had never liked my body before. And I was like,
it's that breakup bod, man.
Yes, I got the breakup bod, and I was like, let's show this to people. And
there's some whores in this house.
There were some in this house. There was one big whore in this house.
It only takes one. That's all you need.
So you were just doing it as a creative exercise just to like warm up a little bit.
Or just like there was literally no motivation, no intention. It was just like, oh, that's funny. And then I posted them the first like dump or the first season, now that I call them.
The seasons.
Them like seven in one post.
Okay.
And it was like that. It was like they took off like immediately.
Yeah.
And, like,
what was the moment where you were like, oh shit, this is something?
Like literally like 2 hours in, it was like had gotten more likes than I'd ever gotten on anything. And it was being shared a ton. And I was like, whoa, this is something's happening. And then I just kept doing them. And the second round, Ari found them. And like, then it was like, after Ari found them, it was like, then it was just like a pile of like, just crazy thing, like a month and a half.
And you and Ari are like on first name basis because now you guys are friends because of the internet and she's a fan, right?
Yeah, we DM sometimes. Like, it's a huge celebrity. So it's like, it's not every day.
Yeah, she's busy. But there are people that like, if they tweet, it will change your life. I think like Chrissy is one of them. Ariana, Zendaya.
Yeah.
She posted a selfie and it got 2.1 million likes. It's like, there are people out here that can like really change the game for just like liking and admit it. And I also love when people aren't too cool to like something. Like Ariana Grande don't have to like shit.
She does not have, and she reposted my impressions every time I posted them for 5 weeks in a row. Like every week she would post like 3 of them.
Now that's worth 10%.
It's worth she asked for a lot of money. I gave her my salary.
She owns the house you live in.
Did she get chocolate chip cookies? Did you send her chocolate chip cookies?
I haven't. I don't want to like ask for her address.
I get it. Fair enough.
Do you talk to Ariana more than she talks to her brother Frankie?
Absolutely. But yeah, it was Ari, and then both Katy Perry and Chrissy Teigen posted it to their grid. Like they posted, which was like, what? That was when I was like, what is actually the fuck happening? Like,
she has the most Twitter followers of anyone. Katy Perry.
Yeah, Katy has a lot, but like for Chrissy got me the most, I would say.
Yeah. I think she gets the most interaction.
She has like loyalty. She has like real loyalty, I think.
Yeah, when Chrissy says something, people listen.
But then I was looking at their grids, and it was just like all themselves and their projects. And I was like, I am the only thing that is not Katy Perry on her grid right now. Like,
it's incredible.
What's happening? And I think it was just like everyone going insane from COVID and like needing a bit of laughter.
100%.
You delivered it, just like when Busy needed cookies.
I delivered. I gave and I expected nothing in return, but I got some stuff in return.
Just some stuff.
I think that like what, at least in my own experience and what I feel like I'm hearing from you, and you can speak to your own experience, but one of the things that's like opened up everything for me was realizing that leaning into a thing, whatever it is, if it's something that like feels right to you, can lead you places that you weren't planning on going. You really thought this TV show was the thing. Like and now you're like, I could be a model. I could like do brand integrations. I could like be on SNL. I could like do whatever, you know, and I think that like keeping that part of yourself open is the secret to success.
Totally. And like, yeah, I mean, like just having so many, and it made me realize like, I thought I was like on this path of being like a TV writer and then TV creator. And like when the show got killed, I was like, I'm not going to act anymore. Like, I don't need to like act anymore. Like that was my last thing. And then this happened, and it's like now I'm front facing, and like people know the face and they know the cadence, and like they're like they like what I'm serving.
You started a thing. You came up with a new thing that now has become a fucking thing. Yeah. It's so dope.
No, girl, like impressions of inanimate objects.
Yes.
I see everywhere. everything is personified now. It's like a beast that can't be tamed. Like they're gonna take what they're gonna take, and like.
But you got credit, and we're big credit bitches here.
Yeah.
Okay,
and to get credit for something on the internet, whoo Lord, nearly impossible.
Yeah.
They will steal it.
Still trying to get that young woman who invented On Fleek her proper credit. All those.
I know.
It's been over for years, and she still hasn't gotten her due.
Yeah,
who invented On Fleek?
This young black girl. So you know they stole it.
Who got credit for it?
It was
nobody really. Everybody just acted like they thought of it.
Yeah, but there's like a video.
Well, that's
of
like
girl.
I really think that I thought of a Breves, you know, because I started doing them in 8th grade.
You invented a Breves.
I thought I did because 8th grade, 1990 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I was a breathing.
Yeah,
but you know, I think that was just like. A lot of people were coming to a Breves at the same time.
And I think that it's like there is such thing as a collective conscious, and I believe that like things like people find things at the same time.
But there needs to be a catalyst. A lot of times there's a catalyst for it to be a boom, and you were the catalyst, and that is really cool.
So, what are you looking forward to? Like, what is something like that you're looking forward to achieving that we can enjoy that's maybe like a little beyond the Instagram impressions? Yeah,
well, I feel like I cracked the next show. And it's like,
ooh.
It's so major. And like, I think it could be just like so special and big. It's like about so much, and it's so expansive. And it's like, I thought, with Call Your Father, my old show, I was like, this is everything I have to say as an artist. And now like... No,
you literally wrote, this is everything I have to say as an artist on that Instagram post.
Now being in this show, I'm like, oh my God, that was like one out of a million things. Like the like scope of this new thing and what has happened to me in the last year has like made my thought patterns different. I've also like been experimenting with some psychedelic youth on the rag. So that's
what kind? What are you doing? Like ayahuasca?
No, I mean I'm a huge ayahuasca queen. Done it 7 times. Truly,
throwing up. I can't handle the throwing up.
Throwing up it feels better than coming. It's the best thing.
All right.
So
are you a throw up? You're a throw up one? Because my friends who did it in Peru, they were poop their pants ones. So there's some.
I think you do both.
Some people, some people poop. So we're a poop show.
I don't think pooping in pants probably feels as good, but.
So what have you been doing? Mushrooms?
I've been the first like April and May. I was microdosing LSD, like in the right way, like the scientific dose every 3 days, and it fucking slapped. It was like. I mean, I accredit a lot of it to the impressions, like the nuance in which like my brain was working was very acid vibes. And I kind of like took a break, and like once I got into the format of the impressions, I feel like now I can, I know what they should be, and I know how to expand or retract or whatever I need to do. But yeah, it just made me feel really connected to the world and like see it in its fullness. And like, that's made the idea for the show really solidify. And like the show keeps getting, the reason I know I'm on track with this show is that it keeps getting bigger and smaller at the same time.
Like, yeah, more succinct.
Yeah. And I'm just so fucking excited. And like all the right people are there doing it with me now. And it feels like it has to I feel such good energy about it. Call Your Father was always fraught. It was like from day one, it was a fight. It was like me being like, I'm going to make this happen no matter what.
Yeah.
With this project, like everything has come so naturally, and like all the right producers came naturally, and it's like moving in such a it's like an Alex Mack puddle. Like it's just like,
yes,
it's like just like floating out, and like I don't feel this wall that I was like every day with the other show. I was like, there's walls every day.
When you let something go, like you're grasping so hard onto one thing, and when you finally let something go, it like opens your hand. Like your hands are open to receive so many new and great things. And like I think that we always have to remember that. And then you get to be on LSD while you do it. It's awesome.
I just feel like this. It's an important thing for everyone to hear, myself included. Which is like, I was pushing to like fit this square peg into a round hole, and then was devastated when it didn't fit. And now I'm like, oh my God, like. Thank God it didn't, because now I'm over here and like things are just make so much more sense.
And there are no pegs and there are no holes.
I mean,
unless you want there to be holes, Jordan.
Maybe, and then listen, there might be some pegging and there might be some holes.
I'm sorry, I'm eating my rice bowl. Casey hates it when I eat when I'm doing work.
I mean, I think the majority of Americans hate it when
I'm not chewing into the microphone though.
You're doing a good job.
You're doing a job.
Honestly, if you chewed into the microphone, we'd probably get some ads for that.
I was gonna say
people are hot.
The majority of Americans hate it, but the minority who loves it gets a real boner for chewing into a microphone. So you know.
Okay, well, I'm not chewing into a microphone, but we are, guys. You're not seeing the Zoom, but we are on a Zoom, and so I had to apologize to my friend Jordan, because I'm pulling the microphone away and chewing in between.
That's okay. So wait, I want to talk a teeny bit more about LSD before we have to let you go. Are you still using LSD?
I've been using it a little more recreationally recently.
Okay.
Like the first couple months, it was like I was writing a script on it. Like I was really working every day on it.
Yeah.
And like now I kind of like I have my little dropper, and when I want feel a little funky. But yeah, I'm like, I think it's like in my life right now. I don't think it will or should be there forever. But it's working for me right now. It's expanding my mind in the way it needs to be expanded. It makes me feel good. Like the mood, it just like my mood, the days I would do it was just so much lighter, so much better, but you're not high. It's like such a small dose that you don't feel high.
Yeah. I think people really clutch their pearls about it because in America, obviously we've been taught to fear hallucinogens, but it's really fascinating. I did some research work on a project that centered on microdosing LSD. And it's really helped a lot of people with intractable depression or who have had like unspeakable trauma in their life. So it doesn't surprise me that you had such a great experience.
Yeah. I love drugs. Like I love drugs. I think that like I want to be part of the next wave of like normalizing like positive drug uses, because like I feel like in media the only depiction you see is negative. Like you never see a TV show where they do drugs and it only is good and it ends good.
I think that you're right, though. Like with anything, the more that people can talk about it, normalize it, share their own positive experiences with certain things, the less it becomes this shame and hidden. And like, I think that all of those things lead to the issues, you know? And obviously people have real fucking problems with drugs, or their family members have. And like, we're in the middle still on top of the pandemic and fucking global warming and all the rest of it. We still have an opiate crisis in this country. Yeah. And like, to me, the pharmaceutical industry in and of itself is like,
it's
fucking disaster.
Right.
Yeah. But it's like, I think just like an openness about the reality of all drugs. Cause like, I don't think you're going to be hearing like meth changed my life for the better. Like,
right.
there are certain drugs that like do have really severe downward spirals.
Heroin helped me write my script.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, then there are certain drugs that like are on the same level as that, which is all the psychedelics, and they really, really help people. And like, this is a goddamn miracle. And like, you do have to seek them out to find it. Right. Like they are like, if they're for everyone, like who knows what would happen.
Right. Yeah. When I was working on that project, I was just curious where people were getting their LSD. And I saw on Reddit, someone very authoritatively said, you don't find LSD, it finds you when you're ready.
In LA, you can find it. I don't even know anybody.
I was able
with
to
it,
find it as a 15-year-old in Arizona. 14. Yeah. I always loved acid. I always loved mushrooms. I've always loved psychedelics. I haven't done them in years. I was like talking, sorry, now I am chewing into the microphone. I was talking to this herbalist because I was having all these like issues. He was like, well, what I'd love to start doing with you is like some mushrooms. I'd love some mushrooms. And I like legit thought he meant that I was going to like microdose, and he meant like
mushrooms.
Like he meant like just like that tea.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Like like whatever that woman's name is. Like moon juice.
Yeah.
Like he was like moon juicing me, and I was like, I'm down. I'm ready. What? Tell me how. How much? What are we doing? And he's like, well, I mean, we can get a tea. There's a tea at Erewhon. I was like, this was not what I thought you were going for. Okay. Well,
Fire him and hire a real drug dealer.
but I also was like, but real mushrooms?
Yeah, you're like, now that you said the word mushroom, I must do the real
that
one.
made me laugh so hard. I had to mute. I'll just give you some mushrooms every day. And you being like, fuck yeah.
I was so excited. That's not what he meant. You can get mushrooms super easily in here.
I mean, they sell them in chocolate bars like online now.
Yeah, like how is that possible?
I always wonder how is this happening, but it's like I think it's just super like they don't care anymore. So you're like they just aren't looking for it.
I guess.
I'm still scared to buy CBD bath bomb online.
Oh my God, Casey.
Well, do you remember when we were at the airport and I had a bath bomb in my luggage? And the lady was like, ma'am, what is this? And I was like, it's a thing that you, it's fizzy when you take a bath. And she was like, ma'am, is it a bath bomb?
And I was like, I do not want to say that word.
I was like, I don't want to say that word. And she was like, you can say bath bomb. And I was like, you can.
You can, not me. Bye. Well, I'm super excited to see what the next bit of time brings for you, but then obviously for all of us, because we get to enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Jordan Firstmaning.
Yeah, I think this show could be super like important for people, and like it's also like I don't want to talk about how shitty the world is. I want to talk about like how beautiful life is and like how many things that there are to experience and like how we have an amazing inner life that is so unexplored. And like, I've been liking making people laugh and bringing people joy and like not not bringing negativity into the equation.
Yeah.
It's like, it feels so good. And I think it's actually kind of punk. Like, I think especially in comedy, like,
Yeah.
you're not going down, you're out. Like,
Right.
if you're not going, like, you're not fucking like digging the joke, digging into the ground, making fun of people, shit talking, then you're like seen as not funny. But I'm like, I think I'm daring the audience to be able to laugh at silliness and positivity.
Yeah.
And it's working. And I think it's scaring some comedians.
Good. I'm so tired of them.
Yeah.
Ugh.
We're rooting for you. We're rooting for
It's
you.
cute, fun, gay. It's gonna have big feelings, big messages, big laughs. We're gonna do it all.
I can't wait.
Can't
We're
wait.
rooting for you. We love you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Keep putting the best stuff into the world because honestly, I can't tell you how many times in the last 6 months it has like lifted my spirits in times to like chill out to an impression of like God leaving the faucet on or whatever. Like,
I love that one.
bye, Jordan.
Bye, Jordan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my God, I love Jordan Firstman.
He's so fun and nice.
That was really interesting. Yeah, he was really interesting.
He is. And guys, speaking of which, I need weed here. I don't know. I know he's like, I need to get like a good weed hookup here because it is not like LA where you could just go to the store and I am bummed.
Yeah,
Didn't they
here's
just
the
legalize
vibe.
it in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Is it?
I think
But
so.
Be
is
right
it
back.
For I don't know the rules yet, though. Is
Right,
it
like-
medical or is it for everybody?
I don't know. I am happy to get it. Like happy to see one of those weirdo doctors to get a medical license. I had one in California.
I saw on after they legalized it in New Jersey, like the Google search for how to roll a blunt was like it increased like by
Oh my
like 2,000%.
I said to Mark last night because we were like talking about the house in Los Angeles and like what we're doing and what's happening in our everything. And I was like, you know what? I got to get stoned. The only way the answers come to me with such clarity is when I'm stoned.
It's legal in DC. A friend of mine, I guess, did we go on a couple dates? Maybe. A friend of mine from high school owns the first Black-owned dispensary in DC.
Well, give me the address when we go visit Mark's parents. I will say hello.
Okay, there you go.
Also get weed. Hey guys, we have very exciting news for you. Guess what we are announcing? Casey, Shantira, and I are going to host a live virtual magic show with magicians Harrison Kramer and his friend Adrian LaCroix.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
LaCroix.
LaCroix.
Heir to the LaCroix fortune.
We don't know that. But maybe. But anyway, the night before Thanksgiving, your Thanksgiving Eve treat to yourself. Maybe you're a person that is going to go see your parents and you can't go to the bar and see your friends from high school, but you can go into the front bedroom and use the Wi-Fi and come be a part of the virtual magic show. We're going to talk about holidays. We're going to spread a little bit of
Little joy,
cheer,
little cheer.
a little joy. And there's going to be magic. There might be a song or two from someone. We don't know. We barely have it planned out. But if I can guarantee you one thing, it's going to be super fun for us. So,
And hopefully
I'm
for
on board.
you.
It's
well,
gonna
I
be
know, but
fun.
I was going to say, like, I think it's going to be super fun. Here's the deal, though, guys. The magic will be interactive with the audience. It won't just be like you're watching a show that Shantira and Casey and I are doing. It's like you could be in the like you could do a trick with the magicians. So we have to limit the number of people that can
Be in there.
be in there, can enter. So it's limited to, it's just a little bit under 1,000 tickets are available And I already know my mom's going to text me like, now, Busy, am I expected to buy a ticket, or did you get any comps? Can I get some comps? By the way, already, just FYI, I'm doing these t-shirts for charity, and my mom already texted me, now, Busy, am I supposed to buy these t-shirts, or are you sending me some? I'm like, Mom, fucking buy a t-shirt. You know what I mean? Just support the Fair Fight Fund. Anyway, all right. Speaking of which, it's going to be $15, the tickets, and a portion of the proceeds are going to
Fair Fight.
a charity, although we hadn't decided the charity yet.
We'll figure it out.
We'll
figure it out.
Yeah, but a portion of the proceeds will go to some worthy charity, which we'll let you know.
And it's 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I don't know where you live. You do the math. We'll each have a swipe up link in our stories, right?
Yeah,
because we can all do that now.
I'll put it in my bio.
Yeah.
And the link, if you just want it right now, is sidedooraccess.com/artists/my name, Busy Phillips, but spell it correctly. It's BUSY PHILIPPS. I know it's tricky. Anyway, I'm really excited about this magic show. We already told Girls 5 Eva that I have to be out of work early. I got a magic show, baby.
And tickets won't be
you're
available until Friday, just FYI.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
So tickets go on sale this Friday, the 13th at 9 a.m. Pacific. You're going to need a deck of cards, maybe a coin, and there was something else.
A quarter, a deck of cards, which you'll be at your parents' house. There's like there's a whole drawer full of decks of cards,
Yeah.
and coins, and batteries,
coins.
dead batteries.
You may need a battery too. We don't know. Everybody's been asking about merch from this podcast. We have been working very hard. It's coming, I promise. Not this week, but soon. We love all of your suggestions. We love your feedback. We love you. What else? Anything?
I think that's it. Just that we love them.
We love you.
We really feel grateful that you choose to spend an hour and a half with us every week. And even if you put us on that ×2 fast forward, we still really appreciate it. I know some of you are doing that. I get it.
I mean,
And you know what?
we would too.
I would too.
Regardless of how you're taking the podcast in, we really appreciate it. I've gotten so many nice messages about how people are saying like, you guys are helping me get through this wild time, and all through this pandemic and all through the election. Really, really nice messages. And I just want to say you guys are helping us get through it as well. So thank you to all of you.
Thank you guys for being such a great community.
And also for sharing the podcast. I really think I saw the most shares of this last week of the election podcast, in part because Shantira really had,
I was
you were upset, but you had like reason to be. And I feel like people needed to hear it. They needed to hear it and they needed to feel it. And I'm happy that it resonated, and continue to share it, guys, so that other people will maybe listen. And I don't know. I don't fucking know. I'm bad at this part. I don't do whatever you want to do. Like, I don't know.
It's hard for you to end things.
But honestly though, Casey, that feels like that feels like it cuts too close to the core.
I'm just saying, at this end of the podcast, like, it's hard for you to end it.
No, you said it's hard for you to end things.
You guys, that's going to be a whole nother podcast to unpack all of that.
It's hard to land the plane sometimes. What do you say? How do you?
It is, it is. Mercury's out of retrograde for a little bit. I'm going to go find some weed in New Jersey. You guys, I love you. Have a great week.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh no.